Good morning, guys. Welcome in. Welcome. It's Monday. It is a beautiful Monday morning. Welcome in. Joshua, welcome in. Joshua, Dominic, Georges, Darius, Buckeye, Kelvin, Jasmine, Heart Medicine, Tavarian, James the Builder, Zebka. Welcome in, everybody. How is everybody doing? Salsa. Salsa was one of the giveaway winners over Salsa from last month. NorCal. I see NorCal there as well. Xavier, Carolina Blue. Welcome in, everybody. Big giveaway coming up in a few days. You guys are going to make me go broke. But hey, that's it. That's what this is about. I made some big money in YouTube. I'm a big YouTuber now. It's like it's pretty incredible. I think I'm going to make about $1,000 this upcoming month. So I think we'll do a pretty big giveaway. Welcome in. Welcome in. How is everybody doing? It is a beautiful Monday morning after some major Friday action. I know we had some incredible. Did you guys get powelled on Friday? Did anybody get powelled on Friday? Hopefully, everybody was able to maintain and didn't get absolutely hammered on that Friday session. Actually, was an incredible session. An incredible session. It was one of the sessions where if you were prepared, you made money. That was just simply what it was. Okay. Yes, there was some volatility. Okay, if you missed the opening bell upside, because I sure as hell did, there was some opportunity short. There was either at pullbacks at demand for longs, or you could have shorted the highs. For example, on SPY, right, we moved higher from key level 639 into next key level 646, from golden level 1 to golden level 2. That was the move on Friday session. Now, if you sat there and missed the opening bell long above 639, well, hey, hold on a second. There were shorts at supply, right? Shorts at supply at the golden zone at 646. So there was opportunity. It just depends if you were prepared to catch it. So today's session, we're going to talk about what's going on here in the SPY chart. We're going to go over what is happening here on SPY that made the market so strong on Friday. And we're going to do we're going to do a little bit of comparison today to the tech side, because you do have tech underperforming. And this is an important theme of today's session. We're going to talk about today. We're also going to go over AMD. AMD was incredible, right? Did you guys take AMD on Friday? Because you could have. There was longs at demand on AMD on Friday, and there were shorts at supply. So on Friday's session, I didn't get the long. I missed the long on Friday. So what was I stuck doing? I took the rejection play. But the rejection play was actually quite beautiful, right? Short the highs, get out there, you make a lot of money. You could have longed the lows. Look at this beautiful break and retest long opportunity yesterday, upside, and then failure short yesterday at the same exact level at 68.6. 168.6. So big level yesterday, or on Friday session. Of course, I say yesterday, I mean Friday. But we'll talk about AMD today. We'll talk about AMD potential upside today. So AMD is one of the beta names I like for upside. We'll talk about what we're watching here at AMD. Obviously, just a breakout trade above highs. We'll go over NVDA earnings this week. Earnings on Wednesday's session, of course, this is going to cause some drama. NVIDIA is my favorite ticker to trade, and unfortunately, it looks like I won't be able to trade this until Thursday or Friday. So let's be aware of that, but we'll dive into this chart today, and we'll go over what's happening here in the NVIDIA chart. Just a little bit of glimpse into this. You can see it is rejections, right? We're seeing rejections come in here in this chart at that 178.5 level. So let's see what happens here in NVIDIA. We'll talk about it in a minute. We'll go over Amazon top watch, Apple top watch. We'll go over Tesla as well, also pretty big in this morning session. And Google, of course. Google, a colossal name to watch this morning. So let's dive into it, guys. We have a lot to go over this pre-market. Let's jump into our earnings reports, econ data, and then we'll jump back into our charts in about 5 minutes. So first of all, thank you, DB. By the way, that is very nice of you, DB. Very, very kind of you. Shout out to DB for that. For that. That is very, very kind of you. I don't even know what that is. It's a super donation. That's cool. Very cool. All right. So earnings reports for this week. In terms of earnings reports for this week, it is pretty light with the exception of Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday is the most important session this week. Wednesday, I'm putting my phone on D&D because I don't want any phone calls right now. Wednesday session is NVDA. Okay, so we have NVIDIA, we have CrowdStrike, and we have Snowflake. So the three big ones are reporting earnings on Wednesday session. We have some retail names reporting as well. You have Kohl's, Dollar General, Best Buy on Thursday session, MRVL on Thursday after hours. MRVL, of course, is going to impact your chip names. So you have chip names. And yes, let me make my face smaller. Hold on one second. Let me make my face a little bit smaller there. Bam. Okay, good. So now we're fine. So again, big day Wednesday. Thursday, also a little bit of an important session, but not critical. And then Friday, you baba pre-market for earnings. Okay, that's all we have going forward into our earnings reports for this week. On the economic data side, this is a very important week. We start off this session with new home sales at 10 o'clock. This is important, but it's not critical. Okay, this is not a critical session in terms of econ data. Tomorrow's session, Tuesday, it becomes more critical. You can see we have 8:30 a.m. data. We have Barkin speaking, some Fed speakers on tomorrow's session. We have consumer confidence at 10 o'clock on Tuesday as well. And then Wednesday session, we have more data. Thursday, GDP, gross domestic product. That's going to be important because, of course, we want to see, is this, what is this? Is this lagging data? I wonder if this is the first data we're getting since, this is the first data we're getting since our tariffs, because I know this is lagging. So this is April. I have to look at this and get a better picture here, but this is, it's not telling me, it's for Q2. So this is Q2 GDP, okay? This is quarter two GDP. So we'll get some more insight onto how those tariffs impact GDP. And of course, you're gonna get a lot of headlines around that. And so you see headlines all over the place after this 8:30 a.m. announcement on Thursday session. So of course, be careful into Thursday. And then Friday, we have PCE, personal income and outlays, which is a big data release. Okay, so understand this week is important in terms of econ data. We must be prepped for it every single day. Of course, these are just little bits of landmines every session we have to be aware of. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you guys is the Fed Watch Index. The rate cut has increased. The probability of rate cut has increased. So we're seeing that the Fed is expecting an 83.3% chance of a rate cut in September. What does this mean for you? For traders, I like to see this. It kind of gives me a glimpse into what the Fed is expecting. For everybody else outside of trading, you must understand that if you're doing any refinancing, this is not financial advice, but sometimes I'll just throw some stuff in here and there. If you are financing anything, at least wait till after September 17th. Seriously, that's what it is. Right? If you're waiting for a refi, at least wait until after this day because you'll get a little bit of a better rate. Okay, that's all I'm saying here. Be understanding of that. Okay, so let's move on. SPY chart. On the SPY chart, I want to spend today's session spending as much time as we can on indices because, of course, this is our main indice and we are seeing some big reaction here pre-market. Fancy, thank you very much, Fancy. That is very kind of you, Fancy. Wow. And also, Fancy, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team, Fancy. Everybody give Fancy a little bit of a warm welcome. She'll be on with us today. So much appreciated, Fancy. That is very, very kind of you. Awesome. Okay, so SPY chart. On the SPY chart, here on SPY, we have a pretty level-to-level move on Friday session. So we had the FOMC, it wasn't FOMC, but it was Jerome Powell talking during the Jackson Hole Symposium, okay? And during the Jackson Hole Symposium, market loved it, okay? So this obviously caused some big upside, but it caused big upside on one particular index. It caused upside on the S&P, right? You look at tech, and we'll talk about this in a second, but of course, tech moved higher, but it didn't quite move with the same oomph as SPY did, right? If you just do a quick measurement here from the lows of our QQQ session on the opening bell lows to the highs around 1.8%, it was pretty big, but not as big as SPY. If you manage SPY's upside move, you'll see it was, if I should be right here. If I'm wrong, I'll look like an idiot, but I should be right here. You see, oh, no, I'm wrong. Okay, so I'm very wrong here, but if you do look at the Qs, it doesn't look as strong. And the reason why I'm saying that is because even though from a percent basis, sometimes this is wrong, even though from a percent basis, it did move technically more than SPY, we were underneath at all-time highs. So that's the key thing to note here is that we were underneath all-time highs. You can see the distance from all-time highs from our Qs all-time highs on Friday session was about 1.6%. Okay, so 1.6% distance from all-time highs here in tech. But you look at SPY's chart, and SPY moved up aggressively as well, but it closed right at its all-time highs. And this is an important thought. The fact that SPY and the overall S&P index was quite stronger than tech, okay? Because tech is obviously a distance away from its all-time highs, whereas SPY closed right at its all-time highs, and that's an important thought. Now, why is that important? It's important because we know that some names within the tech index are lagging behind the S&P. Particularly, you look at names like the XLY, right, which is strong. So you have consumer discretionary strong, XLE, which is also really strong. You have energy maintaining strong, and XLF, which is maintaining strong. But then you look at tech, and tech is well under its all-time highs. So you do have names that are outperforming the overall tech side today, okay? And I think we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about Amazon and Apple being important ones to watch today, okay? So here in SPY, obviously we ripped higher above 639. We moved to 646. The question today, though, is straight upside move from 639 to 646 back into supply. You don't want to be long back into supply here. 646 is big supply. This is our rejection spot in the S&P today. Where should we be long today? In my opinion, should be somewhere back at these Monday lows. So we have Monday's lows, that little channel low here. If I can look for a long entry today around 642, that's my main watch. Okay, so my main watch today here in the S&P is going to be, can we form a higher low on SPY after a big rally upside move? Look for longs back at 642. That's what it is, right? Because if we lose 642, in my opinion, we're no longer bullish. We probably move back into 639. So that's my mindset really is, hey, look for longs back at this low. If we lose this low, we're going back into lows here, 639. This is a short today, so I don't want to see the SPY under 642. If we can get back above 644, that's your best bull case scenario, and a long higher. So either longs there or longs here. That's what it is for me today here on the SPY chart. Okay, either longs with 644 or longs the 642 pullback area. That's what it is. If I see us lose 642, this is my bull bear pivot, and in which case we move back lower into 639. That's what it is for me today's session here in SPY's chart. I want to see the market maintain above 642. In no environment, in no world, am I going to be long today on the SPY at 646. If you see me go long today on SPY at 646, you know it's a bad trade. This is the most important part about trading, is you guys understand what you're doing on your own, okay? That's why I come here to these pre-markets to give you guys, to show you guys what you should be watching, okay? Now, it's up to you to do what you want with this information, but the market rejection spot on Friday was 646. You don't want to be long at 646. You want to be either long above 644 for the break and retest trade, higher, or you want to be long today at 642 for an upside trade after it's caught some bids there at 642. And I'm not saying we do this today. I'm sure as hell not saying this. I'm sure as hell not saying we go long as the market opens, bam, right there. Wait for a pullback, start to see retain there. Once it retains, go long with the base below an upside trade. So again, watching SPY today, big levels down below and reclaims above, right? On the ES chart, again, what I'm watching today in the ES chart is based upon the Monday's lows and the Monday's highs of last week. It's actually a very simple chart. What I'm looking for is either a base to form here at someone said I'm gonna still follow you. So it's crazy. Someone said that is actually insane. But I love it. I love it. You must trust the levels though, right? Trust the levels more than you trust me. That's the most important thing. I don't care what you hear. If you see that Brett's in a trade, Rav's in a trade, Mike's in a trade, Aristotle, Midas, and Fancy are all in the same trade, and we're long today right over here, it's not correct, right? It's just not the right trade. Don't be long there. You must wait for your levels. You either wait for longs there or wait for longs here, okay? So again, on the ES chart, what I'd be watching is very similar to SPY. I want to see us either above the Monday's highs, above that Monday, Tuesday's highs, the rejection spot from Monday, Tuesday, which is 640.75, right? 6475. If we can get back above that 6475 level ES, I think we could see a move back into 6500 ES, which is that high from Friday's session. So again, be careful of our 6500 ES level. It's still a big supply zone. If we can get back above 6475, you have about a 25-point move into these highs over here, which in my opinion is scalpable. So we can watch that for long side trades today. Likewise, you can see us also pull back a little bit more. If we pull back more today, look for longs off 6450, right? 6450 is my long spot on the ES. If we can pull back to 6450 and develop a hold there, that is a beautiful demand bounce at a higher low today's session, which would be a top watch for today's session as well. Okay, so basically, I'm looking for reclaims above highs for continuation moves, or I'm looking for a pullback long at demand, looking for us to form a higher low here. If we lose 64.50, if we lose 64.50, if we lose the 642 SPY, I don't think that we find bids in the market. I don't think we find buyers in the market until 639. And in which case, we would be giving up our entire upside move from Friday session, right? Which again could be a potential scenario today, right? So we have to see what's going to happen. What do we say about Mondays? Mondays are your data collection days. Mondays are the days where you should be data collectors. You're not there to go crazy at 9:34 a.m. and say I'm full port NVDA longs because Brett said the SPY is going to form a higher low. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the market could form a higher low here at 642, and we must watch and be prepared for it if we do see price action in the 5-minute confirming that area. Okay, so let's watch it today and see what happens in the intraday timeframes. Okay, on the QQQ chart, Q's obviously weaker than SPY, right? The same thing I was just talking about on SPY a little bit earlier compared to Q's is very much so valid. Is this is what people are probably saying all over? I don't know, but almost every single time I talk about this, people go crazy. Is this your head and shoulders? Don't come after me. I'm not a head and shoulders trader, but this is what I'm seeing here. I see a left shoulder, I see a head, I see a right shoulder, right? A little bit of a deformed head and shoulders, but it's there, right? You want to see the Qs back above 575 for longs. It is as simple as that. QQQ is under a major rejection point, right? You have the lows here from Friday, the lows here from Monday, August the 19th. And if you compare that to SPY, so remember that day. Remember the day, August 18, August 19. Remember that day. We're gonna take a second, go to SPY's chart. August 18, August 18, August 19. That's right here on SPY. So right here on SPY is there, okay, around 642, and we're obviously well above that level. And then here in the QQQ side, hey, hold on a second, we're well below that level, right? So obviously, you are seeing discrepancy between tech and your ES, tech, NASDAQ, and your S&P, right? So obviously that's what we're seeing. The question is, why are we seeing that? It's because you have some names within the S&P that are outperforming and some names that are within the tech side that are underperforming. Now, what would I watch today here on the tech side is I would watch to see if this can happen, if we can get back above 575. If we do, obviously that's a beautiful long entry. It's kind of far-fetched, but this would be your best possible case long entry. You have highs formed here, you have highs formed here, you have highs formed here. This would invalidate the head and shoulders. So if you want to see big tech upside, you're watching for this. And again, it may seem far-fetched right now, but if you do see tech begin to rally, maybe post earnings on Wednesday, right? Post earnings on Wednesday, post NVIDIA earnings, this happens, that's your long entry. So watch that above 575 for longs, top watch today for tech, okay? If we do continue pulling back today, watch 566 as a pullback long spot. That's the only pullback long spot I have today in tech side is 566 demand bounces or a 575 reclaim for long entries back in highs. That's all I'm seeing here. And if you do see us lose today under 566, then we are cooked, right? It's just, there's no other way to put it. The market's cooked under 566. We're going to see 560, very likely, okay? So that's what I'm seeing today here on the tech side. Again, my drawings don't matter. I know these are not good drawings, but the ideas here are what matters because these are the pressure points of the market, okay? Let's move on, guys. I want to move on. So let's talk about individual names today. I want to spend a lot of time talking about what's going on here on a few different names, particularly Tesla, Amazon, AMD, NVIDIA. Okay, so first of all, let me get some water, some hydration. What's going on in the chat? I see people are arguing in the chat, guys. It's Monday. It's way too early to be arguing. It's way too early for arguing. All right, so let's dive in. First ticker of today's session is Google. A little bit, I threw you guys off. You thought I was just saying NVIDIA, right? So we have to change things up a little bit because we can't do the same thing over and over again because you guys are going to get used to that same routine. Google is the top watch this week for longs. And the question is, why the hell would this guy be watching Google as a top watch for longs? It's because we are at a major level. Okay, you have this major level, major rejection spot here, 207, 206.50, 207, double top highs here, and we are forming again a double top high here. Now the question is, can we break and hold above these highs? This was a trade that I was watching on Friday session, and unfortunately didn't really set up to be didn't really do much on Friday. Of course, obviously, right? It was a little bit of an end of day trade, so this didn't really give us much opportunity. But it did break and hold above 206. And my watch today here on Google is as long as we are above 206, I'm bullish. So I'm going to be scalping longs today in Google as long as we're above 206, looking for a long side push back into 210 today. So above 206, looking for longs back into 210. So that's my top watch. Really looking for that. Okay. If I see us maintain above 208, we're obviously going to 210 today. So be careful of that. My top watch this morning is actually looking to see if we can retain off 206. I know I see 207 as a small intraday level. I think Mike has that in his watches this morning too, and I agree with him, right? 207 is a little bit of a level as well. So if you want to be safer, you can look for a 207 to break, 207 upside break, back into 208, 209. That could be a watch today. For me though, I'm watching either this or I'm watching a hold at 206, an upside trade there. So I'm watching both today, but again, the idea basically is the same. The idea is the same. Google is bullish as long as it's above 206. And I'm talking about the Class A right now, right? You guys see it in the top right? You see in the top right? It's Class A, not Class C, Class A, okay? Big difference. Class C looks completely different, right? But as of right now, on the Google chart, watching for a long as about 206, a re-entry is about 207, back into 208, about 208, back into 210, okay? Amazon. So remember I said there's some names that are strong, some names that are weak. Amazon is one of the names that's very strong, okay? And I know it may not seem very strong right now, but it actually is quite strong. These are the things you have to notice as traders. And I see this right now. I'm sure you guys begin to see it as well. But look at what's going on. Look what's going on here on Amazon. You see a very strong maintenance right now of around this 220 area. 220, 220, 220. And you see triple bottom here, 220, maintaining 220 perfectly. We reclaimed 225, which was a big long spot on Friday session. And as soon as we reclaimed 225, we ripped higher and almost into 230. So my mindset right now here on Google is because we have this market strength right now, I'm looking for one of two things. I'm looking for either a top watch for longs above 230, which would be a strong build above 230 for upside back into 233, 234, which would be a nice big break and retest type trade back in highs, or I'm looking for a pullback long at my demand zone, at my Wednesday level, at my highs of Wednesday the 13th, at my highs of Thursday the 7th. So watching to see, can we form a higher low here at 225 for a early entry, or can we get back above the macro 230? If we get above the macro 230, then obviously, just like I said, back into these highs over here, 234. So for me, I'm watching Amazon today to see if one of these scenarios can present, but both of them are valid for longs, and that's all I'm watching today is longs both above highs or longs at my support zone. Okay, that's Amazon, right? And again, those are my two main watches this week is going to be Amazon and Google. Okay, those are two top watches. Next top watch is actually AMD. I know I usually go over NVIDIA first, but today we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going in like inverse order. AMD. AMD, I actually do like for longs as well, but I only like it for longs above a key level. So the difference, okay, you have to ask yourself this. Why do some charts we talk about for demand bounces and some charts we talk about for breakouts? And why do some charts not yield demand bounces? This chart does not tell me to go long at demand. The reason why I'm saying that is because my mic is so close, by the way. The reason why I'm saying that is because this chart hasn't really formed a low yet. Okay, it's just starting to form that low, right? It's just starting to form that low. Therefore, I don't want to see it come back to 162 anymore. It's still forming the low. I want to see it above the highs now, and then I can look for a low to form here for demand bounce and upside, right? I don't want to be getting in this chart on a weak name at demand. That's not really what I like to do. I like to get in strong names at demand or strong names on breakouts. This name needs to tell me it's strong, and it hasn't done it yet. On Friday's session, it actually almost did it. It almost did it for a second, for a hot second, literally for a hot minute, it almost did it, right? It almost did it, and it looked like it was breaking out. But then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there on live at 11 o'clock in the morning. We're there at 10:30 in the morning, and I'm on live, and I'm seeing the market rip and rally higher. And I see, you know what? Holy shit, AMD literally has just moved from demand zone 1 to supply zone 2. And that's all it's done. So I ended up shorting AMD around here on Friday, around 167.2, with a stop loss above 168 and change. So I had 80-cent risk and got a slap move down back into lows here, made good money in this one. But then again, even when it did rally higher on the second push, the second umph higher, what did it do? It rejected off of highs. It rejected off of highs. and even pre-market, right? Even pre-market, you can get a glimpse of it right now. That's not pre-market. Where we just go, there, back there. Awesome, cool. So even pre-market, you're seeing us again back at 168.90, right? 168.90, 169. We must get back above this level for sustained longs higher back into 174. Okay, so this morning on AMD, even though you saw some moves higher off of demand, you're still just sandwiched in between a big supply and a big demand zone. Therefore, no demand bounces here on AMD. But what I would take is I would take a long entry above 168.60, above our Friday's highs for a move higher back in 174. And one of the reasons why I would watch this is because there is nothing but low volume node in between these highs and these lows. Therefore, above 168.6, we should move higher back into 174 without much defense from sellers. See what I'm saying? Okay, so again, AMD top watch for longs above highs, but I do not want to take it back in demand here. It's a very important thought process. Okay, and again, I could be wrong, but this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm thinking. You guys are here for my thought process. I'm giving you guys my thought process and what I'm thinking today. Right? I'm probably giving too much, to be honest with you. I shouldn't be giving this much on my thought process because they're gonna have a whole bunch of chat owners and shit taking everything I'm talking about. All right, so let's move on. Meta. Meta. Well, you're screwed because like, oh no, we can't do Meta. NVIDIA, we almost forgot NVIDIA. I feel like Rav right now. Rav is like, when Rav does his pre-market, he goes to AMD. Next thing he's going over Microsoft. We can't do that, right? We gotta stay in order here, right? So on the chip order, we have now moved to NVIDIA, and now NVIDIA you're seeing is at key resistance, and it's very similar to AMD because on this NVIDIA chart, we are rejecting a key level here, rejecting a key level here, rejecting a key level here. Okay, we have a beautiful channel, and the beautiful channel is right in front of us. You can see it. This is the big beautiful channel. It is 178.5 to 184. That's your big beautiful channel. That's what it is. And right now, we have just moved down from the breakdown of that big beautiful channel, and we've just slapped the demand below here, ripped higher back in supply, and we are right below the channel. If you want longs to work, you need to see us back above these Friday's highs. If you can get back above it, then we can go higher back into 184. But as of right now, if you're looking for shorts on NVIDIA, it's right there. That's where it is. And this should go back into this spot over here. So for me on NVIDIA, I have a bit of a bearish opening bell mindset here, a bit of a bearish opening bell sentiment as long as we're under 179. If it can break above 179, then you have upside potential. But as of right now, this is more so bear facing. Okay. Again, I don't plan to trade this chart here in NVIDIA until Thursday because of course we have NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. But I'm showing you guys what I'm seeing here right now. We are sitting at supply. So be careful trading this back in the supply zone. Right. That's NVIDIA. Let's move on, guys. Let's go over Meta. So Meta's chart long term is bullish right now. The reason why it's bullish is because we're turning a previous high back into support, back into support, back into support. But just like NVIDIA, just like AMD, you want to see this get back above 760, right? 760 is your big breakout area here on Meta. If it can break above 760, I think we can see upside back into highs, right? If we break above 760, we can see upside back into 784. But as of right now, you have the bull case scenario here back at demand, but you want to see this now clear above these highs for this to really work, and you go back into that channel, which sends you higher into 784. This, to me, this Meta chart is almost the same thing as NVIDIA, okay? We have held key demand below, but we need to break and hold above that 760 area of resistance for us to rally higher back into 784. So be careful today on Meta, right? You don't want to be long into 760. 760 is still a critical level of resistance. If you go long today, right here, so let's just draw the levels again. If you go long today, right at 760, and it fails like this, and you wonder why it failed, that's on you. That's on you, right? You need to wait for this to break and hold above 760 for longs, or you're looking for an entry back at demand, somewhere back below at demand for a long entry. But of course, do not be long at 760. Wait for it to clear back above for us to reclaim higher. Okay. Apple chart. Apple. So Apple is bullish, and the reason why it's bullish is because it's just has a nice structure. I've been talking about Apple being bullish for a while, and the reality is I haven't traded it, right? I haven't really been able to get entries here in Apple. 225 maintained on Thursday, Friday session. Today's session on Apple, I'm watching for 221, 220 for demand bounces. I'm watching for this. If that can happen, looking for longs there. If it builds above 230, 230 reclaim, it's going to rally higher. So for me on Apple today, I'm watching two things. I'm really watching, I don't care about 225 anymore. I don't care about this level anymore. I care about either above 230, which is my top watch for longs. If you can clear above 230, look for longs back in 234. Or I'm looking for a long entry here, 221, 220 for a demand bounce. That's what it is. So basically, repeating myself here, looking for longs back at key demand here at my swing low, or I'm looking for longs and reclaims above 230. These charts are all very much so the same, right? Your AMD chart, your NVDA chart, your Meta chart, your Apple chart, they're the same. And wait, hold on a second. They're all tech, right? So it makes sense. So let's see today if we can form a higher low here on tech on the Apple chart here, 221, if we do longs, or look for longs about 230 for another long entry. That's what it is today. So watching this, okay? So again, 230 and 221. Those are big levels today here on Apple's chart. Tesla. Tesla is... this is where things become frothy, right? Things become a little bit frothy in Tesla, and I don't know what's going to happen here, but I do see that we're breaking above a trend line. So this is something that I think we spoke a little bit about this on last week, but we didn't talk about this in much detail as much as we should have. I think we should have spoken about this in more detail, but you can see this is a larger time frame breakout of an hourly trend. So you can see a beautiful hourly consolidation, and we're breaking above it. And in theory, when you have a break above a symmetrical triangle like this, right, your target should be back into these highs. That's where this should go to. Eventually, this should go back into 368. 368 here in Tesla is where it should go back into. The question is, on the way to these highs, is there any opportunity, right? Is there opportunity on the way to these highs? My view is yes, there is. Of course, there is opportunity. There's always opportunity, but it's got to be above 346. So if you see these highs break, and these highs break, I think we go into 355. If you see 355 break, I think we go into 368. So for me today, this week, I'm watching for longs above 346. If we get above these highs, look for longs back in 355 and back into 368. Okay, those are the things I'm watching today here on the Tesla chart. Again, it's a larger time frame bullish chart, so let's see what happens here in Tesla. But again, it has to clear above these highs here, 347, really 347 would be the level that I'd round up to. Okay, so rounding this level up to 347, my top watch today here on Tesla chart. Okay, moving on. PLTR. PLTR is at the key bull bear pivot, right? I mean, again, remember I said there was opportunity both on longs and shorts on Friday. I mean, come on, right? This is what I'm talking about. Have you ever seen by the way, DJ Priceless and Joshua, yes, thank you both. Joshua and DJ Priceless, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for that. Very, very nice of you. So, on PLTR, look at the opportunity. Look at this. What did we say on Friday pre-market? I think I said it Friday pre-market. I don't know if I did or not. I'm pretty sure I did because this was on my main chart. You can see here, key bull bear pivot on Friday's session was 161. So if you see us rally into the bull bear pivot, right? Look for shorts off 161. This probably made you, if you went short at 161 yesterday on Friday's session, right? You probably made 50% plus on next week contracts. Not even talking about 0 day expiration. 0 day expiration, you probably tripled your money. Okay. This was a 2.5% equity move on PLTR, right? So this is pretty substantial on PLTR under that 161. Now, again, you saw us fail below 161, setting up another short entry downside play in the close. Now, today's session on PLTR, we are under 161. And it's very simple. As long as you're under 161, we're bearish. That's what it is, right? If we get back above it, obviously upside. But as of right now, what does this look like to me? This looks like a beautiful bear flag, right? So this is a beautiful bear flag on PLTR, in which case I think this should go back down into, as long as we respect the bear flag, right? Does this today, we go back to 145. That's where I think this goes back into. As long as we maintain below 161 and keep forming rejections here, that's where I'd expect us to go back down into, right? These lows over here, right? Guys, and that's where we're going to end it. So we're actually going to abruptly end it today here at 9:07. It's a beautiful Monday morning. We went over a lot of names today. So I appreciate everybody here. Guys, hit the like button if you can. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I'll see you guys all for live trading. Have a happy and safe trading day. It's Monday. Take it easy. Be data collectors today. Don't be crazy. It is Monday. I'll see you guys all for live trading. Bye, guys.